On the Major Deegan Expressway, 87 South, in the Bronx. We're right now going through Cortland Park, which we already visited previously to do some filming of the right-of-way of the old Putnam Division of the New York Central Railroad, also known as the Put. So we have Cortland Park on both sides of us here. Okay, here we are. Scott and Keith Tyson and Andrew Tyson is our cameraman, exploring the old right-of-way of the New York Central's Putnam Division, which ran from Sedgwick Avenue and I believe 155th Street in the Bronx, up through Cortland Park, continued up through Westchester County into Putnam County. We started our journey by driving down from Rhinebeck in Dutchess County to Cortland Park in the Bronx, where we're going to pick up the right-of-way, which is now a rails to trails. As you can see, the tracks themselves are gone, and it's now a walking and biking trail. I'm now looking south in Cortland Park along the right-of-way, which we just seem to have made a discovery. We crossed the trestle over the Henry Hudson Parkway, and now as we come up here, we realize that there's what appears to have been another trestle that crossed over this path down here that no longer exists. It's gone completely, and we're assuming that the right-of-way of the Put used to continue up this way rather than down this way, which is where the trail takes you. So now we will continue down here and we'll have a look at it from the bottom of the trail. Come down off the trail. We were following the right-of-way up to the south there, and now we've come to what appears certainly to be having once been a trestle that crossed over here and is no longer here. So we're assuming that the right-of-way of the Put continued this way, and the trestle has been removed, obviously, and I guess the right-of-way will pick up to the north here if we continue up this trail. And here we have the stables, the Cortland Park riding stables, and now we're going to continue up this way. Here we are. We walked up north a bit and came to some apartment houses that seemed to block the right-of-way, so we're not sure what that's all about. But we couldn't continue any further north, so now we're making our way back to where we parked our car, and we're coming to what appears to be, it looks as though they dynamited the right-of-way here, opened it up between these two embankments here on either side, and now we're continuing on down. Let's go, Jedi. Okay, so as I said, it appears that the right-of-way was blasted through here. Very interesting. We're continuing down, again, back towards the park. A little ways down, we're going to pick up the actual right-of-way of the Put alongside the Deegan, and we're going to follow that down to its original southern terminus, which was Sedgwick Avenue and 155th Street in the Bronx, along the Harlem River. Shortly, very soon, we're going to be coming up on a landmark on the Put, which was the old Stelladora cookie factory in the Bronx that was served by the Put Freight Service. I think this is it coming up right here on the right. Get that, Andrew? There's a cookie factory, and the right-of-way of the Put is right in there, behind the embankment there. That was one of the Put's big customers when it was doing freight, delivering freight. I think the cookie factory closed up sometime in the last 5 years or so. Of course, the Put stopped making deliveries there much further back than that. Well, actually, maybe not that much further back. It might have been in the 80s, 1980s might have been the last time that a freight train made a call there. Okay, so we're continuing on south on the Major Deegan, and shortly we'll be approaching the George Washington Bridge and the big interchange with the Bronx Expressway and a number of other things. Okay, so here we are. We're further down south in the Bronx, again approaching the George Washington Bridge. We're starting to see the first of the bridges across the Harlem River connecting the Bronx with Manhattan. I think this is 230th Street here that we're going by now. The Putt at its terminus at Sedgwick Avenue was served, Manhattan commuters were served by a steam-operated swing bridge that used to bring them across the Harlem River to the Putt Sedgwick Avenue station. They would take the New York City elevated lines, the 6th Avenue and the 9th Avenue L up all the way north to what was actually the Polo Grounds, which was the home of the New York Giants baseball team. And then from there they would take a shuttle across on that swing bridge and connect with the Putnam Division to take trains north up into the Bronx, Westchester, and eventually Putnam County.
Now you're at 162nd Street and River Avenue. Another Jerome Avenue number 4 train is on the upper level heading into 161st Street station, passing Yankee Stadium and then going underground. The lower level was built to extend the 9th Avenue Manhattan elevated into the Bronx. This is the remnant of that line. It was known as the Polo Grounds or High Bridge Shuttle. Here we go, leaving the 155th Street 8th Avenue shuttle station in Manhattan, then using New York Central's Putnam Bridge to cross the Harlem River. Across the bridge is the Sedgwick Avenue station in the Bronx. After the shuttle drops its passengers at 167th, it reverses into the middle track, sometimes called the pocket, and waits there until it is time to make the next shuttle back to the Polo Grounds. Now the train is leaving Sedgwick Avenue Station and heading across the Harlem River to the Polo Grounds, at one time the home of the New York Giants baseball team. When the Giants moved from the Polo Grounds in 1957, one of the 2 tracks was shut down. The final blow came when the Putnam Division of the New York Central stopped operating passenger trains in the spring of 1958.
Okay, so here we are coming to the, we have a Metro North stop over there. That's a Morris Heights stop on the Metro North Harlem line. Right, that would be the Harlem line, right, Keith? Yeah. Okay, so again, the right-of-way of the Putt is right alongside of us. I mean, it's right here to the right back there. You can't see anything of it. I'm not sure if there's any tracks left back there. We really can't, safely get off here and look around. So we're just going to continue down to our destination, which is going to be around Yankee Stadium, Sedgwick Avenue, and 155th Street. And then we'll see if we can find anything, any remains of the old station or the right-of-way or anything that might still be there. I'm quite sure that swing bridge across the Harlem River is gone. I believe they removed that some time back, but we'll find out shortly. Here we have the I think it's a High Bridge Aqueduct. Park that this is called. That's a familiar landmark that you'll see in some of the archival footage of the Putt that you'll see further into this movie. So, okay. We have coming up here. We have Yankee Stadium exits, exit 6 through 5 for Yankee Stadium. Yankee Stadium will be coming up on our left shortly. On our right, across the Harlem River, of course, is Manhattan. And East 161st Street, East 153rd River Avenue. Well, I'm just sort of like taking a stab at it here as to where we ought to get off to begin our search. And I guess this is probably as good a place as any, maybe 153rd. I don't know how much further south I'm going to go. I think I'll get off here. Maybe if there's a service road in the Deegan, which I imagine there is, we can follow that. And we'll see where this ends us up. Okay, so here we are. We're exiting off the Deegan. And, well, okay, here we go. We've got railroad tracks down there. Let's see if we can get those, Andrew. Now that's what's that? Looks like a 4-track main line of some sort. Yeah, Hudson and Harlem combined here. Keith, when you take the train to Yankee Stadium, is this where you come in? Yeah. All right. So what do we got here? Stadium and local streets. Yankee Stadium.
Stadium and local streets.
All right. Let's try over here because that ramp doesn't look like it's going to help me any. Okay, you still taping, Andrew? Yeah. Okay. So all right, here we are. We're alongside the railroad tracks, which we believe is probably some convergence of the Harlem and Hudson lines. Keith, who's taken the train several times down to Yankee Stadium from Dutchess County, I'm depending on him to tell me where the station is that he comes in on, because I have a feeling, I have a feeling that it probably is the same tracks that the Putt originally used to run on. I mean, that would be my guess anyway. Maybe I should just get off to the stadium exit, drive around a little.
It's on.
It's on? Are we filming, Andrew?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so here we are. We're trying without success to locate the Sedgwick Avenue stop at the Putt. We found some tracks which are obviously still in service, which we believe is a Harlem and Hudson line, sort of converging at Yankee Stadium here. There is in fact a stop at Yankee Stadium now, commuter rail stop that'll bring you down to Yankee Stadium. Keith, very sharp-eyed, spotted a sign for Sedgwick Avenue as we were taking the service road of the Major Deegan back up north. And now we are crossing the Deegan, and we're hoping to find some evidence of the right-of-way of the Putt and the old station at Sedgwick on the other side along the Harlem River. So here we go. Here, film up that way. See, there's some landmarks that'll be seen in the movie. A Metro North commuter train heading north, but unfortunately we haven't found any evidence or sign of where the Putt was around here, where the Sedgwick Avenue station was. I know it says in the things I've read that it was built into the hillside. I'm not exactly sure what that means. Whether they mean the hillside on the other side where we came from, or they mean the hillside on this side of the expressway. Well, anyway, we've decided this is a dead end to pursue any further, so we're going to head back to the car. Okay, so this is, as far as we can tell, might be the only evidence that the Putt was here. This old bridge descending down to the tracks quite possibly could have been part of the station that was here at one time.
Look at that abandoned, looks like abandoned railroad.
Yeah. So I have to think that the right-of-way of the Putt was shared with these electrified tracks down here. Anyway, we're now going to continue up north and into Cortland Park. Okay, so we did indeed find Sedgwick Avenue. As far as finding any actual evidence of the putt or the station or anything, I'm not so sure about that, but we are here at Sedgwick Avenue, and there's some familiar landmarks, as you'll see from watching the archival footage of trains running on the putt. So anyway, on to Van Cortland Park.
Or the Putt, as it was affectionately called, was operated by diesel engines which could not enter the tunnels to Grand Central Station. Trains originated and ended at the already familiar Sedgwick Avenue on the tracks beneath the L. Passengers from Grand Central arrived on electric trains but changed at Highbridge. Inbound passengers changed at University Heights, 3 miles north of Sedgwick.
Okay, here we are back in Van Cortland Park, our second go-around trying to find the right-of-way of the putt. And now we've stumbled across something called Vault Hill, which looks to be some sort of burial ground or something. Unfortunately, the trails aren't too well marked, and we're not quite sure if we're proceeding the right way. We learned the mistake we made last time, which was what we were following last time by the Equestrian Center is in fact the Getty Spur line. It was a electrified 3.2 mile spur off the putt that went to Getty Square in Yonkers, and it's been abandoned since 1943, but that's in fact what we followed last time. You know, that ran us into a batch of apartment buildings that blocked us from going any further. So now we're endeavoring to find the right-of-way of the putt in Van Cortland Park, and hopefully we will stumble upon that before too long. Here we are, still in Van Cortland Park, stumbling along through the steamy, hot, jungle-type conditions in search of the right-of-way of the putt, which we believe we found for maybe the 5th time. Hopefully the 5th time will be the charm. This lake or pond behind me is quite familiar from the videos I have of the Putnam line in use. So I'm thinking that right behind where Andrew's filming, turn around Andrew, this fenced-in path is actually the right-of-way of the old putt, which is now again a rails to trails type thing. It's a biking and walking path. So Keith's already gone up further along, and we're gonna catch up with him now and see where we are. Okay, after getting some useful directions from a very helpful man over at the golf course, who, when he mentioned Conrail, the old Conrail line, I realized he knew exactly what he was talking about, and a couple minutes later, here we are. We have what look to be some old ties here from the railroad that ran the putt, and now we're gonna proceed further down, and I believe we're going south now, and hopefully we're going to find the remains of the Van Cortland Park train station on the Putnam Division. Okay, so we've come into an opening here, and we're on a bridge that certainly looks like it was built to hold trains, and we have the lake here, I assume it's called Van Cortland Lake. I'm not sure exactly. But we're quite confident we're heading in the right direction to find the remains of the old Van Cortland station. Okay, we finally have our first big breakthrough. What we're seeing here is, I believe it was 12 blocks of granite that Cornelius Vanderbilt had delivered up to Van Cortland Park in the Bronx. He probably had them moved up here on the putt. The idea was to test them and see how they weathered, how each one weathered individually, and then decide which one was the best choice for Grand Central, which he was building at that time, the current Grand Central terminal. I believe that was around 1912, 1914 or so. But anyway, these are his granite samples that he brought up to the Bronx, to Van Cortland Park, to see how they weathered, and then make the selection on which one to use for his new Grand Central project. I'm not sure which one he ultimately chose, but I believe it is one of these, and I think there's 12 of them here. So now we're going to continue on and find the remains of the station. Yeah, we're going the right way, Keith. Okay. All right, we're continuing along, hopefully to find the remains of the train station soon. Here we have what is clearly, what clearly once was a train trestle, train bridge over this creek here that feeds into the larger lake by the golf course. It's painted a nice sky blue color, as you can see.
Look, on the sides there's like metal things.
Yeah. Okay, here we are. We have found our holy grail, what we came to find. Here are the remains of the Van Cortland Park train station of the New York Central's Putnam Division. This is what we came to the park to find, and here it is. As you can see, there's not a whole lot left. There's some rusting girders, but you can clearly see that this was at one time a structure and was in fact a train station that existed in Van Cortland Park, at least up until 1958 when they suspended the passenger service. I'm not sure what use they made of it then, because the freight service would continue for a good 20 or so years after that. If they do something like pointing out something else, it was just tape it. All right, put some of this stuff here. What do we got here? Clear evidence of the train track that once were. Train bridge here. Again, painted a nice blue. Look at the way these plants grow in rows. I guess following probably the rotting timbers of the cross ties that are here. There's steel girder. 2 blocks anyway. Okay, so we've walked off the right of way, and we found over here 1904 on the abutment of this bridge. I had a feeling that this bridge would have that because I remembered seeing it online somewhere. So we walked off of it, walked off onto this path that crosses under the bridge, and we did in fact find the 1904 that I saw on a website recently. Okay, so we're now proceeding along a wooden path through what appears to be a marshland in Van Cortland Park. So as you can see, the putt just a couple miles north of Sedgwick and Kings Bridge certainly does have a very rural feel about it in a very short period of time. Okay, so now we're going to work our way back to Route 9A and our car. Our mission here in Van Cortland Park was an unqualified success today. Okay, here we are in Tibbetts Park in Lower Westchester County, off of the Henry Hudson Parkway, and right now what I'm looking at is the trestle of the old Putnam Division of the New York Central Railroad crossing the Cross-County Parkway in Westchester. So we're about to proceed up and hopefully onto the tracks. Well, what used to be the tracks have been pulled up, and it's now the rails to trails, and we're going to make our way up there. We are standing along the old right-of-way of the Putt, looking south towards Van Cortland Park, where we just were. We have the Henry Hudson Parkway off to the side here. So the traffic's moving slowly on it, so we're glad we got off. And now we're walking north along the trail towards the trestle over the Cross-County Parkway.
That's little brother again. We're moved along a little bit further up this trail here. We're right by the Cross-County Parkway. Behind us is a trestle, as you can see, which traverses the parkway here, Cross-Country Parkway.
Exactly. Oh, we got a bicyclist coming. Let's move over to the side.
Okay.
All right, pan down here a little bit, Andrew, and say, here we have Tibbetts Park in Lower Westchester, right over the Bronx line into Westchester County. We have a beautiful recreational park here. We parked the car and then made our way up here onto the roadbed. And as you can see, we've got lots of activity there with kids playing soccer and whatnot. And now we are going to make our way back down. Okay, we've now made our way further up the Saw Mill River Parkway, a little north of Ardsley at a park in Westchester called, I think, B.E. Macy Park. I think we're going to pick the right way up over this bridge here. Anyway, we're going to walk over. We're approaching the New York State Thruway now, along this footbridge, and we're going to pick up the right-of-way of the Putt immediately up ahead, I believe. Okay, so here we are. We have, in fact, come back across the right-of-way of the Putt here in Lower Westchester, a little bit north of Ardsley. We're actually between Ardsley and Elmsford. If you look at these signs here, they direct you to Farragut Avenue is to the right, which is down in Yonkers. And Elmsford is to the left here. And the South County Trail is in fact what they've named what used to be the Putt when they turned it into a rails to trails. Here we have a nice, interesting little graphic of the Putt, which Andrew is now zooming in on. Yep, the South County Trailway is located on the right-of-way of the former Putnam Division of the New York Central Railroad. The old Putt, as it was fondly referred to by commuters, spanned 36.2 miles through Westchester. The line provided freight and passenger service from 1881 to 1958 between the Bronx and New York City and Brewster and Putnam County. Freight service continued to operate sporadically on lower portions, Elmsford and South, of the line, but retracted southward until it eventually disappeared entirely. The last lower Putt freight train made its final run in August 1982. Woodlands Lake Station above, Woodlands Lake Hotel Complex at right, and Falls is seen from the railroad immediately south of the station. Okay, so that would have been, that view's from a little bit south here if you walk down the path a little. That view there, if we walk down that way. Why don't you tell us what we've come across here?
Okay, well basically what we have here is a trestle of the Putnam Division right away. As it is today, it rails for trails. We're going to move ahead a little bit. We're approaching the trestle here with the water underneath,
and this
rushing water.
And this is something we're a bit familiar with from our childhood, huh, Keith?
That's right.
Yep.
When we were kids.
Yep, Keith and I remember when they ran freight trains on here back in the early 1970s, early to mid 1970s, when we grew up in Elmsford, which will be our next stop on our journey to chronicle the old Putnam Division today. So we remember this trestle quite well when it was an actual railroad trestle, complete with cross ties and tracks, and we walked over it a number of times when it was in that condition, and it's certainly a little bit safer, but not quite as interesting, certainly not to kids as it was when it was an actual train bridge. But as you can see, the view from up here is quite impressive. You got the thruway right there, the New York State Thruway roaring past us, but you still get a nice bit of serenity, and it's quite a cool, comfortable breeze in here. Much more pleasant than it is out in the sun today. Okay, well Keith, here we are.
Yeah, back home again.
5 Don Lane, our second house here, and we're in Elmsford, where Keith and I grew up. We lived here until 1975, I believe, at which point we moved up to Mount Kisco. But while we were here, as you'll see, this was a house we lived in for the later part of our time here. Our earlier house we just went by a little while ago, a little bit ago on Biltom Road. This is Don Lane, but that's the house that we lived in. And as you'll see, as we follow here, we're going to go down to where the Putt is, or where the Putt was, where the rails to trails is now, and show you how close we were to the railroad when we were growing up. We spent quite a bit of time down there along those tracks. So, Keith, is it gone?
No,
the entrance in Agent Park? Wasn't it right here?
Yeah, it was here.
Oh wow, it's gone. There's no access anymore. That kind of screws up the plans.
I was just thinking, I was wondering.
Or was it further back? No, it was
here.
It was this way, right?
Yeah, they closed it off, I guess.
Wow, they sure did. And we take. Okay, here we are. We're on the path. Right here is what used to be the Elmsford train station. I think the building's still there, but it's been extensively remodeled, and it's now it has been for some time, an Italian restaurant. Yep. Okay, here we are. We're in Elmsford. We're looking west on Route 119, looking towards Terrytown. The bridge you see going overhead there is for the Saw Mill River Parkway. The right-of-way of the Putt is a little bit in the foreground, and on the video you'll be seeing shortly of steam trains operating on the Putt, you will see a train, in fact, crossing 119 right at the, and the video was shot from approximately this same spot. A little further up, we're in Eastview now, further up north, and here's the trestle over the Putt, and we're going to attempt to follow the line up to Briarcliff. Is it Briarcliff Manor, right, Keith?
Briarcliff Manor, that's
yeah,
right.
the next existing stop along the line, and I think we're going to get back. Okay, here we are at the Briarcliff Manor. Today it's the Library and Historical Society, but at one time it was the Briarcliff Manor train station for the Putt. It's been extensively expanded and reworked, but the existing structure is still in here somewhere. It's one of only 4 stations still existing of the original, I don't know, whatever, 26, I think, stations that existed along the length of the Putt. There's only 4 left. So here we are, the station's here, and behind it is the South County Trail, which used to be the right-of-way of the Putt.
The Brewster station served both the Putnam and the Harlem lines of the New York Central. The Putt ended at Brewster. The Harlem line continued north to Chatham, New York, where it joined the Boston and Albany. The final run was made on May 29, 1958. In August, the shuttle ran its last train, and the Putnam Bridge, a relic of the 1870s, was fixed permanently in an open position.